All right, let's hop about talkers. Wait. So talkers, let's hop about it.
A soliloquy for every movie. For Casablanca, Tommy Boy. He's here, it's him. It's Andrew Toy. It's Andrew Toy.
Back when I heard about this movie a few years ago and I saw the concept art and I kind of followed its trajectory as it started to put itself out there publicly, I did not want to see it. And then the trailer came out and I really didn't want to see it. Like less than I wanted to before, because Pixar is what it is today. But then the movie came out and I was getting two very different responses. Rotten Tomatoes was telling me that this movie was beloved globally by critics and audiences alike. But individual YouTube channels and reviews that I read, there are some people out there that absolutely hated this movie. Those are really differing opinions. And I don't think the people were being haters. Almost everybody wants Pixar to succeed again. So I went into this movie, arms crossed. I'm just like, all right, show me what you got. And surprisingly, the first like 15 or 20 minutes was really good. I loved the connection between Mabel and her grandma. By the way, this is going to have spoilers, so I just want to give you a heads up in case you didn't know that. But I loved the relationship between Mabel and her grandma. I loved the philosophical things she was saying about, if you stay still and just breathe it in, nature comes to life and you can channel your anger elsewhere. Pete Doctor says that Pixar is supposed to be making movies, not therapy. I push back on that, honestly, because I think that's where I think Pixar is at its best. It's where it's providing therapy for kids and adults alike. Where I think they went wrong is that the therapy they've been providing in the last 5 to 6 years excluded the masses. Turning red. My son doesn't need to learn the hygiene lessons taught in that movie.
Wow, but maybe your daughter does.
Well, then how? But the point is, okay. And so the insightful lessons that Hoppers started off with Mabel and her grandma, taking nature in and just relaxing and being able to channel your anger in a different direction, I think that is great stuff. I think that's where the movie shined. The problem is they didn't really do much more with the grandma. She essentially ended up being the willow tree in Pocahontas, which is just another tie-in to Avatar, the film they're trying so hard not to be like. Something else I really liked about this movie is the frenemy dynamic between Mabel and Jerry, the mayor of Beaverton. It's really hard to say that word without laughing.
This says bushiest beaver.
But I like that because it's so different. And in any other movie, the two wouldn't know each other from Adam. You just have this, anonymous, mayor type person trying to build freeways. But I liked that they already had an established relationship. I think that was really clever. It was a great take on it. And it also allowed for Jerry to be a little bit more human, and then we could decide which side we want to fall on by the end of the movie. I thought that was great. But I think what should have happened is that either Grandma or Jerry needed to go on this adventure with Mabel. Grandma could have been like the sage, wise one trying to teach her all these things about nature that she observes and how they observe nature in different perspectives. Jerry could have been along for the ride to learn lessons about, we need to be more judicious about where and why we build things and kick animals out of their environments. I think there was a middle ground that could have been found there, but the movie just went a whole different direction, a direction I never would have taken, and I wish it didn't go. I know it's the entire point of the movie and why families go see it, but I don't like that the animals come to life. The animals become talking animals with, little dynasties and kingdoms. It was stupid. It was stupid. It was stupid.
Oh my gosh, movies with talking animals are the worst. I hate mine.
No, they just did it wrong, guys. They just did it wrong. The right one. Son of a bitch. Okay.
Talk like that.
Son of a gun. Or if you had to go that route, get better writers because the jokes were horrible. Pretty much from the moment Mabel turned into the beaver, it just turned into this freak show of a circus. You've got birds picking up a great white shark flying along the side of the road.
Yeah. I don't want to watch a movie where somebody puts a fish in a coffee pot either.
The problem is, watching this movie, it became very clear to me that nobody at Pixar had the gall to stand up and say no.
No! No, no, no! No!
I kind of felt that way with Finding Dory. It got a little wacky at the end, but I think they cut it off just at the line. Where Finding Dory got really kind of silly, Hoppers just hops way over that line. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all week. And just takes it way too far. Now, that's great for the 5-year-old crowd. Fantastic. The kids have silly things to look at and laugh at, and there's noises just blaring at you.
To me, the noise is more like a, like a, it's higher like that.
There's sort of a...
Oh, no. It's more of a...
Non-stop, and I'm sure little kids like that. But that takes me to the climax of this film. This film suddenly does a 180. Watch out, kids, because this is going to turn into a full-on horror film. Boom. What they did with the mayor and the robot thing was absent. Now, I liked it. Okay, I'm going to count that as something that was pretty awesome in this lackluster Pixar movie. And clearly they were just trying to appeal to the parents. It was really disturbing. If your kids can make it through Hoppers, then Five Nights at Freddy's and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are probably going to be okay for them as well. It got really scary.
Can I watch Five Nights at Freddy's and the other movies?
They're so dumb, though. I mean, yes, you could watch Hoppers, but good luck. Now, as a dad and a film lover, I love that they dared to go there. Like, it was pretty great. But as far as like the environmental stuff goes, I feel like all the tropes that we've seen before were followed like a roadmap. It's like I can almost forgive the bad jokes and the things that just I wasn't connecting with. But when I'm a minute ahead of each little life lesson to be learned, that's not a good sign, because that means all the kids are a few minutes ahead of the lessons as well. But let's talk for a moment about the animation. We're not even in a period anymore where we can say the animated movie was bad, but the animation was beautiful. No, we're not even there anymore. Those days are long gone. 80 to 85% of this movie feels like it came out of Blue Sky Studios. It just felt so amateur. As far as the trope of the human turning into the animals, why do they only do that with minority characters? Turning red. There's the Spy movie with Will Smith where they turn into pigeons. I think Tom Holland is in it.
Spies in Disguise.
My daughter says that movie is called Spies in Disguise. Speaking of Will Smith, they color him blue for almost all of Aladdin. The Princess and the Frog, The Emperor's New Groove. He's Inca. He's not a white male. He's Inca. I just feel like Hollywood's trying to say something. I mean, even look at Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. We fall for the trick every time where we think that Hollywood is being so progressive, but I don't think that's the case, guys. And I wish other people would see this problem. Another issue with this film is I have Working for the Weekend by Loverboy stuck in my head. That's what I walked away with from this film. Everyone's working. I hate that song, and I just can't get it out of my head. Thank you, Pixar, you jerks. So we talk about how the animation isn't great. Well, I also don't think the voice acting was very great. Like, some of the characters were perfectly fine. I don't think they chose people that fit the voices at all. Maybe that was part of the joke. But it just looked so much more sloppier than it already was looking. But here's the biggest issue I have with the film. You could take everything that I've criticized it for and toss it out, but the hill I will die on for this movie is that Mabel, the protagonist, is the exact same person at the beginning as she is at the end. Because once again, we have a main character coming out of Disney that's just so perfect, doesn't need to learn any lessons, is already just God's perfect gift to humanity from the start. What a mistake. Her environmentalism, as great as that is, you want to save the animals, I get it, but she ends up burning this entire town down because of her clumsiness and her unwillingness to change or see any other point of view, yet she still comes out on top as the hero. I don't think that's right at all. If you remember back in the glory days of Pixar, they had like these rules for storytelling. The top rules was your character has to want something different by the end of the movie than they did at the beginning of the movie. And they have completely done away with that rule, which is a giant part of what made the earlier movies so good. I just rewatched Toy Story because I'm doing a marathon getting ready for Toy Story 5. I'm just that optimistic, I guess. I was noticing as I was watching it that it takes so many different events throughout the film to get him to actually have a change of heart.
You see, we're friends now, guys, aren't we, Buzz? You bet. Give me a hug. Oh, I love you too.
So it's not just an easy, hey, we're best friends now because we got lost. At the beginning of the movie, his only goal was to get rid of Buzz so he can continue to be Andy's main toy. And at the end of the movie, his goal is very different. He actually wants to get Buzz home. He wants to be his friend now. Just getting back home to Andy isn't going to be good enough. He has to have Buzz go with him. Not just so the other toys don't kill him.
Toss him overboard.
But because he actually wants him there. He wants a co-partner, a co-worker, a co-owner of Andy's home, if you will. And so why did this movie get such high ratings across the board? I will tell you why. Because they spent the last 10 minutes of this film going back to the beginning, actually making it a good, sweet film. I liked how it ended. I think it was a very sweet and a very nice ending to this otherwise chaotic, terrifying movie. So I'm watching this movie and I'm just rolling my eyes and I'm just, oh, this is so dumb. I'm just so frustrated saying how this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen Pixar do. But then the ending just kind of sucked me in and I was like, okay, I like this. This is very, very sweet. You can feel that Pixar touch, that Pixar spirit infusing the film again as it did at the beginning. And I got sucked into it. I got suckered. And that's what I think happened because as the credits are rolling on the big screen, everybody's logging on to Rotten Tomatoes to write their review of Hoppers. And they're like, it's just so sweet. It's such a cute film. It's so good because you're coming off directly from that sweet high, if you will, where you're just covered with the sweetness and the good feelings. And it's very effective. They do a great job in that regard. That's why I think it has such high ratings. And I wonder if maybe years down the road, people will look back on it and say, okay, this movie isn't as good as I said it was because this movie just doesn't stop and it's not in a good way. So all in all, when I look at Hoppers as a product as a whole, not just judging it by the beginning or the end, but when I look at it as a whole and take into account the eye rolls and the grunts and just how frustrated I was, my wife loves beavers, loves them. She will sit and watch 24-hour documentaries of just beavers doing their beaver thing. And she couldn't get through 30 minutes of the film. It's because she's like, is the whole rest of the movie gonna be this way? She stuck it out for a few minutes after she put on the beaver costume and she says, this is stupid. And you can see when the movie just takes a real bad turn. And she didn't even finish the movie. I did because I'm watching it for you guys, so you're welcome. Overall, when I watch the movie as a whole, I give it a D, somewhere between a D and a D minus. That's how bad and loud the middle parts were. I think there are so many more creative ways they could have gone about doing this movie. And maybe I'm just spoiled because, you know, we just got off of watching the Wild Robot, which is a very sweet and tender film all the way through. That's just exploding with heart and goodness and just the right way to do an environmental movie. Thanks for bearing with me, if you will. I hope I've earned your subscription so that you can hear me rant about other movies. I talk about all sorts of movies, so please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.